And now the choice of former Oyo State Governor and respected Ibadan High Chief Rashidi Ladoja as the next Olu of Ibadan has continued to elicit reactions. The name of the former governor was announced by the Olubadan in council last week during a private meeting at the palace and later confirmed at Mapo Hall. The Council of Kingmakers affirmed Chief Ladoja's elevation, making a new chapter for Ibadan's royal lineage. Now we have two guests who throw more light on the issue. And first off in the studio, we have Prince Kayode Arimoro Michael. Thank you, Prince Kayode, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And via phone, we have Oloye Lekan Alabi, custodian of Ibadan history, a veteran journalist and Ibadan High Chief. Also, thank you so much, Oloye, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so I think I would start with you, Oloye, custodian of Ibadan history, veteran journalist and Ibadan High Chief. So let me start with a question because the conversation on the continued misrepresentation of interest, especially when you're talking about culture and, of course, royalty and monarchy, people think about these things around heritage. They think about history. They think about precedents. So why is this eliciting so much reactions, this choice of former Oyo State Governor and the respected Ibadan High Chief? Why is it creating a lot of reactions?
Ibadan is not aware of any reaction. What we and the world we are aware of is the consent, free consent given by the kingmakers, and which they have formally conveyed to the state governor, Governor Seyi Makinde, which is in line with the tradition of Ibadan in choosing a new Olubadan. The Olubadan Council will meet and nominate and name their candidate, which they will forward in writing to the state governor, and the state governor will assent or may not assent. But thank God he has assented, and he has made a public statement affirming that by the grace of God, Oba Rashidi Akomu Adewale Ladoja will be crowned the 44th for Olubadan of Ibadan land come Friday, September 26, 2025. No rancor.
Okay, let's come to Prince Kayode Arimoro as well. Do you have any feeling, towards this, should I say, picking of the former, governor, what it means going forward, for the Yoruba land?
I mean, thank you very much. Like the last chief has spoken, he is a custodian of the history from that side of the country. I am an Ijesha prince, and from what I hear him say, he said all the necessary traditional protocols and guidelines were followed and resulted in the person that was named Olubadan as of now. But normally, and he said there's no rancor. I've not seen in the news that there's any rancor. There's been different rancors sometimes, like when the Alaafin of Oyo was chosen.
Absolutely.
And the one that concerns myself, when the Owa Obokun of Ijeshaland was chosen. And it was something similar to this in one way, because in Owa's case in Osun State, we had somebody who used to be deputy governor chosen, without following the due process. But the speaker earlier stated that in Ibadan, they followed the due process. In our own case in Ijeshaland, for example, we're in court because we feel like the traditional stool is not a stool you use to incentivize politicians. There are two separate lines. In the 1800s, for example, the Oyo Empire was so big, very influential politically, and in terms of military might, so much that they were running over places like Osun, Ilesha, and trying even Ekiti. But a lot has changed since then. I've not really seen any controversies concerning this election, aside the fact that one would wonder, his political affiliation, does it have anything to do with it? Or was the guideline followed? Somebody that is a custodian in that part of in that part of Nigeria is telling us now live that there's no rancor, the right thing was done. And if that is indeed the case, then we give them thumbs up. And we hope that that can be replicated
across board.
You see, Nigeria as it is now, do you wonder why 100 years ago, for example, we had a lot of foreigners working in Nigeria, and our naira was stronger, and our economy was stronger, even though we didn't have so much oil? At that time, in the Yoruba land, for example, where I'm from, there's what we call agbole. Everybody, that means your kids and kins. You know everybody. There's accountability. We know how to convey our messages. We know how to drive our traditions, right? But we have allowed politics interfere into it, where a governor can decide not to accept whomever the kingmaker.
So that is why I just want to come in, because again, the politics and the perhaps for some who would use the word, the manipulation using, people in government offices to truncate what heritage and tradition has our Benicia left through a decade of passage, over the years. How do you look at that? Is this going to create a dangerous atmosphere for the tradition that you have mentioned? And how can that also be checked?
Oh, so it's simple. The crafters of our Constitution were very intelligent people, very deep. But then, what is a Constitution without those that are applying those laws, right? So we have a lot of lacunas in our Constitution. Take, for example, the chief law, which is supposed to guide them in selecting Olubadan. He said that was done. He's supposed to guide us in selecting who the Owa Obokun is. That definitely was not done, and that is in court. But it's a dangerous precedent, because, you see, if you let our tradition have its course the way it used to be many years ago, Nigeria is going to blossom. The traditional chiefs, the kings, the monarchs, they are partners normally, partners in progress if they get there the right way. If they do not get there the right way, what is happening now is what we will see, because some of these monarchs, for example, like Oni of Ife or a true Owa Obokun of Ijeshaland, they appear to you like they are human beings. No, but they are deities. They are selected by the gods. So if from Ilesha to Ibadan to Oyo to somewhere even in Kano State, for example, if we allow the traditional norms to drive our cause, then we are going to do well. There will be better connection with the grassroots, and everything builds from bottom up. But when you let politics, our biggest problem in Nigeria today is politics, and they just want to keep expanding their powers, expanding their reaches, even into religious entities, into traditional arrangements. And then before you know it, we are losing our identity as a person. Somebody can decide to say, because he's a governor, he's going to give a friend's son or a friend's, the royals too. And that is desecration. That's what many people do not understand. You don't desecrate, because these are not like physical stools. They have spiritual significance.
Okay, thank you so much, Prince Kayode Arimoyo, Michael, for joining us in the studio today.
And thank you. Yeah.
Also, thank you to Oleye Lekon Alabi, who's a custodian of Ibadan history, a veteran journalist and Ibadan High Chief, for joining us via phone as well.
Now back to the news. A diplomatic misstep has ignited confusion and international headlines following claims by Nigeria's government that